You see me brag on my Kubota BX all the time about how I can do just about anything I want to do with it. But we are finding our limits. Now be sure and stay tuned to the end of the video when we'll find out if the Kubota BX can lift a tote full of firewood, or 2/3 full of firewood, or half full of firewood. Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peaks Peak. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lucas, and we're sharing our hobbies here on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky. And today, we've got a project that involves these IBC totes. Now, you probably got a pretty good idea where we're headed with this. I have been working on the woodyard and making plans to run the sawmill and be able to deal with the slabs and not waste the wood that comes off as scraps. So I want to be able to turn that into firewood, in which case I want to have something that I can handle that firewood in from the woodyard and bring it down here by the road to set up and sell. Basically what I'm going to do is take the top bars out and cut a little opening right here in these, and then I'm also going to take the bladder and maybe cut the top and the bottom off so that we can set those on top of the pile of wood and keep the rain off of it. So that's my plan. We'll see how that goes. I found a place that sells totes and barrels and all of that stuff about 40 minutes from here up in Huntington, West Virginia. And they sell these totes for $25 a piece. So I felt like that was completely reasonable. That gives us something to work with. So I took the trailer up there and I loaded up 8 of these totes, and I also picked me up another burn barrel so that I can have a place to just burn the small scraps in the wood yard in case I want a fire or whatever. For a couple $100, we got all set up and ready. I took the day off work today because they're only open during the hours that I actually am working. And I also had a delivery, a freight delivery that I was waiting on today. So I went in and took the day off work. That way I could go up in the morning and pick these up and then be here for the freight delivery, which has also showed up. So we have a new toy to assemble. We'll get to eventually. Well, the first part of this appears to be as simple as pulling these Torx head bolts out of here. All right, guys, I have learned a few things after doing a couple of these. And the first thing that I have learned is a metal blade on a Sawzall works much better for all of this. So we're going to do that. And there we go. There we go. All right, guys, and just like that, we've got 8 firewood totes ready to go. And once I figured out the system of using the Sawzall and the metal cutting blade to knock these out, I mean, I was able to cut one of these up and then cut up the waste from the inside of it and dispose of it in probably 7 or 8 minutes per tote. Well under a couple of hours to get 8 totes ready for firewood. Now, I've got to haul these up the hill, and I put them on here with the Kubota BX and my short clamp-on bucket forks. So I actually zip tied the top tote to the bottom tote so they wouldn't fall over on me, and that worked out okay. Now, I tried several different things with these totes as far as the lids go. I cut some of them a little more shallow like this, and then I cut some of them a little bit taller like that, and we'll see which ones work better. That way I'll know for any that I make in the future. On the openings for these, I felt like this was just kind of a good setup. Now, if I had a bigger tractor where I was going to use these to fill them up and then maybe lift them up and dump them into trucks and stuff like that, I might not cut out such a big hole in these. But the way that I'm going to be using these with the Kubota BX, I know that I can't fill these very full anyway. I can't fill them all the way to the top at least. So we won't be stacking the wood in here. We're just going to be, you know, scooping up the slabs and dumping them in here, and we'll put in here all that we can hold without it falling out of this hole, and that'll probably be about all we can pick up anyway. Now I wanted to show you real quick the bladders that came out of this. What I did was cut the top off of every one of them, and that's what we use that's going to be the cover for the firewood. But the rest of what was left of the bladders, I just cut those into pieces that I could stack inside of one of these open bladders. And then I took the other one and cut it and stuck it over the top of it, because I'm going to haul this off to the dump, and I didn't want it filling up with water while I'm waiting to get it hauled off. So this is kind of a nice little containment of 8 leftover bladders out of these totes, and I thought that worked out pretty well. I'm excited to get these up in the wood yard, but I can't take them up there right now because the trail is so muddy. I did a lot of box blade work and fixed the drainage on the hill, got the trail in really good shape, but what that does is when you do all that box blading and loosen up the dirt before a rain, you end up with really soggy trails. And I can take the side-by-side up and down it. It's a little bit soggy, but it does fine. But this truck, it wouldn't even make it, especially pulling the trailer. It wouldn't be safe. So we got to let it dry out. We'll get it up there, and then we'll start filling them up. No worries, I got zip ties holding that top crate on there, so it's going nowhere. I'll be awaiting my sketchiness rating on this video. got split up probably, I don't know, 2/3 of a tote full there, which is probably already more than the BX is going to lift with the clamp-on bucket forks that I have. But I kind of just was on a roll, so I kept splitting and kept filling. So we'll test that out in a minute. The first thing I'm going to do is test and see if I can scoop up wood with the rock bucket. I had a loyal viewer ask me that question, and I would like to know for myself because I have a pile split over there. Now these are slabs, so they'll probably scoop a little bit easier than rounds, but still, we're gonna try that and see if we can't fill that other tote with those. So I don't like that. I scooped up a little bit of dirt and junk with it, and also it just wants to push the pile back because it's not a good way to get under it, and you end up pushing several pieces and it pushes the pile back. So unless you had like concrete blocks around your fire piles like Mike Morgan or something like that, this is not going to work for this. I mean, it probably saved me a little bit of time with the pile that I had, but it wouldn't be long before my pile would be back in the woods. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some of this by hand, I guess. It is what it is. All right, I think I'm gonna stop at about half full on this one. That way I can kind of compare the two and see how they do. So let's go switch back over to the forks. you have it. It's only 2/3 full and I can't pick it up. That ain't gonna cut it. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. At the very least, we need skid steer quick attach bucket forks to get it further back. We can't use our clamp on bucket forks. Well, let's try 1/2 full and see if we can move it. So it looks like the verdict is 1/2 tote. I'm unenthused. Because I gotta be able to pick it up about this high to set it on the trailer to haul it down the hill. Yeah, and it's not that I necessarily want to sell them in totes and load them into people's vehicles and stuff like that. I at least want to move the wood back and forth up and down the hill in totes, which means I need to be able to lift them this high to put them on the trailer. And honestly, if that was, you know, a different type of wood, different density or whatever, then even a 1/2 tote could end up being too heavy for me to pick up. But I have firewood totes. Look, all of this is my playground. All right, this is me having a good time, and me also just trying different equipment, sharing with you guys what it will do. So you see me brag on my Kubota BX all the time about how I can do just about anything I want to do with it. But we are finding our limits because I can barely pick up the logs that I want to put on the mill, and that's before I put my extensions on. And I can't pick up a tote full of firewood. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Listen, until next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation. It's beautiful out here. Today it's hot and I'm sick, but I'm still having a blast. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Y'all have a good day.